Town against the QPR 11. This is a fixture, Frankie, that we've been building up to for a long time. I know it's a month until the real competitive action gets underway, but this still feels like a big occasion.
Yeah, it's a big occasion for the club. Anytime you can welcome championship opposition, whether that's their first team, a mixture of first team and academy players, it's a big moment for the club. And we've got looks like over 1,000 people here. And you know what, the result maybe is less important today, but I think it's just about sending those fans home happy, giving them something to buy into going into what is a very big season.
And lots of new faces and some familiar ones as well. Anything in particular you think fans should be looking out for today?
Yeah, look, it's Farnham have got a load of new attacking players, which is very exciting. A couple starting today, Joel Rollinson and Shea Brennan starting, and they'll be ones to look out for. Midweek, Farnham had a game, and Shea Brennan got his Farnham campaign off and running with 2 goals. So, it's a very exciting time. And if you're a Farnham fan, Daryl Sanders is back, and that's all you really need to know.
Yeah, this is the perfect build-up to the England-Switzerland game later on, and we're sort of making a real day of it at the Memorial Ground. Hopefully, if you're not able to make it today, you can make it to future games. Another signing I want to touch on is Jordan Stepney at the back. Ryan Kinane had several centre-back partners last season due to injuries and other factors, but maybe this time he's got a real settled partner.
Yeah, that was the plan, and I think Jordan comes in. He played for Farnham, I think, at the start of his career when he was sort of 17, 18, just coming through. He's a local lad. He's gone and played and won Step 5 with Rains Park, and he was one of the best defenders in the league last year at that level, and Farnham were able to bring him here. So it's a huge signing for Farnham, and him playing on the left-hand side of that defence just allows Ryan to move over to his favourite position. And from chatting to Ryan, that just opens up the pitch for him. We know how good his distribution is, and having that right-footed and left-footed centre-back partnership is just going to help.
And just quickly, because I think the players are getting ready to come out, but obviously Pat Nash departed the club in the summer, but the murmurs around Marcin Brzozowski, the new signing, have been very positive, almost surprise around non-league that he's come to Farnham. A bit of a coup.
Yes, he joined us from Oxford City and actually came through the ranks at QPR when he was younger, so a bit of a former club for him today. But yeah, the way he conducts himself, the way he sort of operates is so slick and smooth, and another player miles above the level Farnham are at. So the club are delighted to get him in, and it's a player that Jono's had his eye on for a few years. Wasn't really able to get him before we signed Pat. Pat's obviously departed, and we all wish him the best of luck. But Marcin hopefully is that keeper now to take us not just from step forward to step 3, but will be more than good enough at that level as well.
Yeah, and it was good for Farnham to get a lot of business done early as well.
Yeah, and it worked last season, and they've gone again. I think the teams are about to come out, so we will enjoy that.
Welcome along to this coverage of Farnham Town's first home pre-season friendly of 2024-25, and they welcome a QPR 11 here today. Lining up for them, the new goalkeeper, Marcin Brzozowski. In defence, it's Jack Dean, Ryan Kinane and Jordan Stepney, who comes back to Farnham Town, and Joe Jackson starts at left-back. It's a familiar midfield too of Harry Cooksley and Mark Waters. And new signing Joel Rollinson is alongside Daryl Sanders, who is welcome back after a long layoff towards the end of last season. And Lewis Flatman starts up front alongside another new signing, Shea Brennan, who scored twice against Langley on Tuesday in the first pre-season friendly.
Yeah, interesting one. A couple of few youth players on the bench. Finn Jordan, Tom Christmas, Joe Goddard and Charlie Burns. It'll be interesting. It's a big occasion for those players to hopefully get some minutes. But from the reports from Langley on Tuesday were that Finn Jordan really did impress.
Yeah, Owen Dean also on the bench. Duarte Martins, Farnham's new number 9. Hopefully we get to see some of him today. George Butler, another new signing, a very versatile player. And Kai Tanner and Max Meaton, both retained in the summer, make the bench today as well. Max Meaton, of course, the man who scored the goal that confirmed Farnham Town as champions. Very good to see long-term players like him retained.
Yeah, no, look, it's hard as you go up the levels because you want to have a team that are competitive, and sometimes players don't make it. But Max is one that has sort of improved with the better players that have gone around him, so we're delighted to have him at the club.
It's a very blustery afternoon. We never seem to get good weather at the Memorial Ground, even on the first weekend of July. But as long as we get a good game, Farnham debuting their new kit, names on the back.
Yeah, they'll certainly get some pelters for that from opposition players.
as you say, Ryan Kinane moving back to his preferred side. Got to build a partnership with Jack Dean.
Yeah, player I'm sure anyone would love to play next to.
Yeah, loves to bomb up down that right-hand side. Scored, was it the goal of the season last term at Spelthorne?
Absolutely packed. Even below us, you just can't see it on the camera, but yeah, it's a very good occasion for Farnham Town and a good way to kick off the season.
Yeah, the Pepper Army stand has come into shot now. Some QPR fans over there, which is good to see.
Yeah, look, it's exciting for them. You know, you got the look at the next sort of players coming through for QPR.
Yeah, and I hear there's some high-profile scouts here today. Wonder if that's any added pressure on the Farnham players. Not that they'll be thinking about that, but QPR a bit sloppy in possession early on, and Rollinson will chase that one down. Ryan Kinane wins his first header. The first of many, I'm sure. Flatman looked like he was pulled there. Referee happy to let play go on. We don't have a QPR team sheet, unfortunately, so can't name all these players.
It is interesting, you know, as a group of academy players, how many times have they actually come up against a crowd like this and a bunch of men in reality? It's a very interesting test, and it's why I can see that they've taken the game, because you come here and you know you go and play an academy team, and it's very nice. You give each other space, not many spectators, but you come here and you've got, you know, grown men in your face.
Yeah, and we did see Farnham against a similar outfit last season. Sutton United, obviously, a few levels below QPR and not as esteemed an academy, but Farnham dealt with that test very straightforwardly.
Yeah, they showed brilliant know-how, and they got the job done.
Very fast-paced start to this game, frenetic, as Harry Cooksley is allowed to steal the ball there, and the referee again happy to let that one go as Shay Brennan gets his first involvement in a Farnham shirt at the Memorial Ground. Cooksley looking for Rollinson, who's pulled into a nice pocket of space. Now Jack Dean. Rollinson just looking for Cooksley, maybe not quite on the same wavelength. And QPR can bring it forward. Sanders coming back to carry out his defensive duties. And that's an easy interception there for Jackson, who finds Sanders, his old pal, and Shay Brennan gets an early opportunity to stretch his legs and maybe get a shot off, which he does, and hits the target. And you saw the Jackson to Sanders to Brennan connection there, which maybe isn't the first time and certainly isn't the last. We'll see that.
No, it's a partnership made in Loughborough, but brilliant. Shay's movement there, fantastic. Yeah, QPR just caught a bit high there, and you know, if they're going to allow Sanders to pick up that space, then it's going to be a very long day for them.
Yeah, Shay Brennan took no time at all to settle into this Farnham side. Obviously, it's not competitive action yet, but he'll be thrilled to have got off the mark on Tuesday.
Yeah, as a striker, you just want to get that first goal, get that monkey off your back. I think whether it's competitive or not, it's just a nice feeling. You know you've hit the back of the net, sort of like a cricketer getting his iron.
Dean over the top for Brennan, who's very lively early on. He's just ahead of Rollinson there, who was arriving into the box. But Farnham have started brightly. Jackson there, keen to steal a march. Again, the referee lets it go.
He's let a lot go, to be fair to him. If it's going to be refereed like that, I think it'll be a very good game.
Yeah, both teams pressing high up the pitch, and it's really not easy for QPR to get out at the moment, but they've managed to do so.
Take him on! Take him on!
Just outnumbered there, number 7. Assesses his options, goes back, and again, Brennan hunting down the centre-back. This time Waters pressurises the number 8, and Flatman can chase it down.
They'll be very comfortable in those areas. You know, these are full-time professional players. They'll know exactly the body position to receive the ball in and pop it off. They'll be so comfortable playing out at the back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Farnham keep up this press. Obviously only had the one training session and one match so far. This is the very start of their preparations, but they do look fit. And Stepney there mops up, and Ryan Kinane will love that, the fact that Stepney was there to bail him out of any danger.
Yeah, that's just that partnership is it's the key to Farnham's success this season. Sounds very basic, but if you keep a clean sheet, you only need 1 goal to win the game. And when you've got Daryl Sanders, you're probably going to score one.
Kinane wins it back, looking straight for Brennan, who's controlling his chest was lovely, and there's space
Farnham are
for
in here.
Sanders. And space for Sanders normally means bad news for the opposition. Here's Flatman. Just gives it away, but Cooksley will have time now.
A moment sort of gone though.
Cooksley, the star of the second half of last season, at the very least for Farnham. Picked up the mantle in Sanders' absence. Cooksley. Now Jackson, not afraid to get forward. Wonder if QPR have identified Sanders as the main threat. He's got a couple of bodies around him at all times. Jack Dean.
Silly foul, really. He's going nowhere. But Jack Dean started very brightly. Farnham have started brightly. They'll be happy with us. I think the one thing maybe they'll look at as an area they need to... Maybe that's the reason this team's in their place, because QPR won't be the biggest side. But there's no real focal point up there. It looks like Flatty and Shea probably both want it in a different way to someone who perhaps had a larger frame up front. Where are you aiming for the sort of long balls? You know, if you wouldn't have Owen Dean on it, or
Shea Brennan fouled there.
these are the areas Farnham will be dangerous. You know, Ryan and Jordan are going to be huge, aggressive players that these sort of academy players will never come up against. It'd be a real good learning curve for them. Jordan Stepney in particular is very aggressive from set pieces. Nearly scored a couple of goals on Tuesday.
Cooksley to deliver. It's in towards Kinane, who gets his head on it. Almost came for Stepney. And the flag's gone up. Maybe there was an offside in there against Kinane. Nice high line kept by QPR there. Don't see so many offsides from set pieces at this level, but QPR obviously very well drilled.
That's what you get for training 5 times a week.
Kept in well, and then again by Jack Dean. But into an area where it's picked up by QPR's number 6, just looking to spread the play. Waters. So often hear the shout of relax from the Farnham bench.
Yeah, you'll see QPR sort of get in that shape and wait for that bad pass. So they got time on the ball at the back.
Jackson again needs no second invitation.
No, Jackson's come into the pre-season incredibly fit. Apparently on Thursday, from speaking to the coach and stuff, bleep test, he was brilliant. I think it was him, Waters, and a couple of others that were brilliant.
Two very industrious players, and that's not meant as an insult. There's a reason they played so many games last season. Jackson in many different positions and equally capable in all of them. Stepney testing out his passing range, and if that's any indication of how he can distribute the ball, then that's positive for Farnham fans. Here's Sanders, who himself is not bad at that. What a lovely ball that was from Stepney.
Yeah, it's nice having 2 players at the back that can do that. Just opens up the whole pitch.
A bit short there from Jack Dean. QPR clear their lines. They wanted to play out, but Farnham didn't allow them to.
Really trusting it, trusting the ball at the back there. It's just going to come up to Farnham.
Brennan gets his head on it. Half away, but Waters collects. Here's Cooksley. And now Sanders, space to pick out a cross, and Flatman maybe just caught on his heels a bit.
Yeah, it's a tough one with Flatty. He's not a traditional sort of box number 9. Needed someone to make that run at the back post.
Yeah, just in response to a couple of comments on YouTube, we don't have the QPR team, unfortunately. It's not been published anywhere.
No, pre-season games, there'll be to give the fans some context. There'll be a lot of roll-on, roll-off potentially in the second half. So, team sheet's pretty tricky to do at this level for a pre-season game. Combined with that, you might have some trialists, etc. So,
but very easy to identify the Farnham players now they got names on the back of their shirt. That's a vintage Harry Cooksley touch. Brennan, who's pulled out wide. Waters shows for it. Jackson wants it. It's worked across via Rollinson, whose pass wasn't quite on point.
no, not quite come off for Joel yet.
That's another one you've heard positive reports about from the squad in terms
Yes.
of how he's settled in. And a good showing on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was an interesting one Tuesday. Farnham went into a game straight away without a training session. Very different way of doing things, but all accounts went very well. No major injuries to report.
QPR progressing up the pitch, but again it breaks down. Waters harrying and hustling, but he is beaten there, and they have got numbers now. QPR as a number 10 looks for number 7. Jack Dean has to get back, and he forced a shot there, really, Jack Dean, by getting back into position quickly.
That is the one area you think maybe Farnham can get exposed is once you beat that sort of press, Cooksley might be up the pitch and it's just Mark, or Mark likes to get forward as well, and then you're sort of running at your 2 centre-backs. Luckily for Farnham, they've got 2 of the best centre-backs in the game, but yeah, that is an area in transition I think Farnham will have to work hard on in pre-season.
Forward by Kinane. Brennan being held, but somehow manages to control anyway and get a cross in. And Flatman will collect it. Waits for support. Now Waters, some time for him. Flatman. Waters. Farnham reset. No opening. Came there. All the way back to Brzozowski, who's saved just a moment ago as his first involvement.
Keep him one way if you can, Ron. Okay. Keep him one way. Good.
Stepney forward. This time nobody was making the run.
Now do your shot. Now do that. Don't stand in something.
QPR plotting their next attack, and it's Daryl Sanders leading the press this time.
Stay inside, lift inside. Don't worry about that too much, Shane.
Really high quality stuff so far. No clear-cut chances, but the ball being moved about the pitch
Got to walk all the way around.
with intent.
No, you got round. No.
Joe, stay out, Joe. Stay in there, Jake. Stay in there.
And it's again cut out, this time Cooksley, with Flatman to his left. Holds on to it. Finds Sanders. Jackson. Sanders looking to play it back to Jackson. You can see what they were trying to pull off. But Jackson's run was trapped.
Now do your shape. Look inside.
Thank you very much to the 200 of you that have joined us for this pre-season friendly on the YouTube stream. Waters, nobody on the left flank there.
Probably where someone should have been.
Yeah, Flatman wins it back though and gets the throw. Cooksley Lets fly, didn't quite catch it how he wanted to. We know he can cause damage from that sort of distance. With both feet. Jack Dean staying tight to his man.
Good pressure there from Farnham. They've settled into this. It's an interesting one. Both teams have settled in, look comfortable on the ball, but neither quite look like they're going to know exactly how to break each other down. Just searching for that answer.
Yeah, the QPR defence very, very well organised. Moving in straight lines. And now they might have an opening, and the number 7 is in behind Jack Dean here. Just couldn't take the ball in his stride, and it allowed Jack Dean back in, but again it was on that left-hand side for QPR that they maybe are targeting.
It's lovely football.
Sanders to Jackson. Looking for Sanders again, and it was a lovely turn, but outnumbered. Starting to build a little partnership on that left-hand side though, Sanders and Jackson.
Yeah, what's good about Joe Jackson is when he looks up, he always looks for Daryl Sanders, and that is a coach's dream.
Jack Dean alert to that one. Now Canane. Flatman makes a run. Canane elects to go back to Brzozowski. Farnham patient. Stepney looking for Jack Dean. Good area.
Hey!
Jack Dean very clever there to win the foul.
That all comes from Jordan Stepney. That's why you go out and you make him, one of your number 1 targets. It's just, if Ryan's trying to play that ball over on the left, it's a tricky ball. Whereas that Jordan's just sort of got it out of his feet. And that's going to unlock a whole new dimension for Jack Dean this season. A player that is fantastic and maybe looks back on last season and thinks I could have contributed more because of injuries and performances, but he'll be desperate to have a big impact on Farnham this season. He's got all the ability in the world.
As has the man standing over this free kick, Harry Cooksley, with plenty of height to aim at. And it almost dropped for Jack Dean at the back post there. Important intervention. Jackson will launch a ball to the right flank. Cooksley looking for Brennan, who made a good run. Waits for support in the penalty area. Again, just behind everybody. Jack Dean. Rollinson. Almost came for Brennan, but Farnham are knocking on the door now, and here's Sanders. Lovely effort there from Cooksley, appeals for handball, not given. Perhaps half-hearted appeals, but...
I'm not sure why Flatman didn't carry on.
And it's another cross that's just evaded everybody, and again there's nobody on the left-hand side waiting for it.
Just felt like Flatman could have carried on there. He sort of stopped and appealed.
But very inventive from Cooksley with the outside of the foot.
That's what you get with Harry Cooksley.
But there's been a few crossing opportunities from this right-hand side, and just nobody quite gambling. And with 2 strikers on the pitch, you would hope for more opportunities in those situations, but that's out of play, and you feel like the momentum's just shifting towards Farnham.
Yeah, they've really started to get a foothold on this. Still people flooding into the gate apparently. So.
Canane. Central ball. Flatman leaps. Dean, and now Cooksley. That one's a bit short and cut out. Cooksley wins it back though. Looks for Flatman. Round the corner for Sanders. And it's another cross. This time Rollinson will get there. Jackson onto his left foot, just stopped in his tracks. Cooksley, time for him. Jack Dean into the box again. Flatman went for it, and Sanders scores! Daryl Sanders back at the Memorial Ground with a lovely finish, and Farnham take the lead on 20 minutes.
It was well worked. It came across. Jack Dean, brilliant positioning. He's played a great ball in. Farnham, a bit of fortune. Flatty maybe could have got there, but then Sanders tucks it home. It's brilliant to have him back. He's a man for the big occasions. There's a huge crowd here, and he has lit up the crowd already.
It has been coming from Farnham, and it's been coming from that right-hand side. Lots of crosses coming in. Flatman went for it. Got a bit lucky, as you said, with the ricochet, but Sanders, that was no easy finish.
No, and when you're playing this formation, that sort of box, which is very central, you need someone like Jack Dean, who almost can come and play as a winger. And Farnham there showing exactly why they not just won the league last year, but they went unbeaten. And they're looking to make a similar mark on the Ishmael South Central this season.
Yeah, and who else but Daryl Sanders? Couple of lovely assists on Tuesday. Nice finish this afternoon. So many goal involvements of all sorts of shapes and sizes last term. He'll be chasing another big return this year.
That should just settle Farnham down now. QPR should potentially come out a little bit more. That'll just create a little bit more space for Joel and Daryl. But yeah, fantastic. Look, result doesn't matter, but it is nice.
That's given away there by Stepney. Got a bit lucky that rolled out of play. But Jack Dean has been a very important attacking threat there on the right-hand side.
Just provides that width. Sometimes this formation you can get a little bit tucked in, and Joel and Daryl will want to pick up central areas. The strikers want to pick up central areas. Having a player like Jack Dean, as I said earlier, almost as a right winger. But yeah, he was one of the other players actually in the bleep test that was brilliant. He's looks after himself incredibly well. He's a personal trainer as well. So yeah, it's going to be an asset for Farnham.
No further, Joel, no further. Let them deal with it. Go see out.
QPR just struggling really to have a spell of possession at the moment. How will they respond to falling behind? Farnham continue to press. This time Rollinson leading it. Kenane makes that his. Will fall though for QPR's number 7. But they just can't really get going.
No, the 7 struggled a little bit. For all of Jack Dean's attacking exploits, he's also brilliant at the back, so tricky assignment for him today.
Stepney and Kenane exchanging passes. What a shame about the weather.
Yeah, you plan and you plan, you think, July you're going to be fine, and you've got England on later in the clubhouse. It's been a weird summer.
Cooksley seeing a lot of the ball. Stepney clips another ball towards Brennan, who just got a little push in the back, but it was cute enough to not be noticed by the referee.
That's nice. Really is coming down now, the rain.
QPR just trying to find a route back into this.
It's been a lot of this, just sort of playing it around the back. They're going to have to be braver with their passing here.
That's a nice ball to the right back, who has barely had a kick, to be honest. That's a nice flick, giving Jackson something to think about defensively. They've moved the ball up the pitch well here, QPR. Number 7, and a chance to shoot. Decent strike. Just got underneath it a little bit.
That was good. It was good. They actually were really brave there. I think the right back played it into the 9 and it sort of came off him. They need to use that 9 as the pivot and spin off him. Because they're not really getting any joy through midfield. Maybe they have to miss the midfield out.
Yeah, but it was right on cue, just when you said need to be a bit braver with their passing. That was just a couple of balls into feet in tight areas, and they managed to get in behind Joe Jackson momentarily. Waters calls for it and wins it. Sanders looking for Brennan. Does well, really, to find Flatman. Rollinson makes the run, and that opened up the space for Flatman to deliver a good cross, really, just ahead of Brennan.
Yeah, tricky one. Flatman is obviously playing as a 9, and is that the position you want your 9 to be taken up?
It's a really
a good ball.
Really unselfish run from Rollinson as well.
Yeah, he's got a bit about him. Oh, that's a foul. I thought the forecast was that we were going to escape a bit of rain. There looks to be some bluer skies around, so hopefully that's the end of it.
Flipped over the top, and very well weighted pass, but Brzezowski alert to the danger.
Never looked like it dangered him. He was never panicked. That 3
figure.
Yeah, look, it's tough with they're all very tall at the back, and you can't quite work out how tall they all are. But no, they're imposing.
Too much on that one, and QPR just getting back into it a little bit now.
Yeah, it's definitely been their last sort of 5 minutes.
He's playing with fire a little bit, but good feet to escape, but that's a poor pass. Farnham can have a breather. Jack Dean. Here's Stepney. Mark Waters always showing for the ball. Definitely the workhorse of the midfield too.
Yes, it feels like he's been at Farnham for years. He probably played less than 15 times last year.
Yeah, already a leader in the dressing room, on and off the pitch, really.
Yeah, very, very smart lad as well.
Suffered a nasty injury at Croydon last year. Facial injury, but no long-term repercussions. I think one of the most impressive things about Stepney is how last year was his first stab at step 4, and probably one of Raynes Park Vale's best players.
Yeah, also, you know, him and Jordan Gallagher are definitely the 2 names people think of. I know they were gutted to lose him, and only rightly so.
Forward from Flatman, and Brennan got a touch on it and wins a penalty. What a brilliant touch from Brennan, and the goalkeeper was rash. And a lovely ball from Flatman over the top, making all of that happen. And Harry Cooksley's going to get a chance here to double Farnham's advantage. All came from nothing, and the goalkeeper will surely be regretting his decision to come out and hack Shea Brennan like that.
I think if it was a competitive match, he'd have definitely seen a booking.
So we await the Cooksley celebration if he slots this. Harry Cooksley with a hop, skip and goal. 2-0 Farnham, and both of last season's talisman, Sanders and Cooksley, are up and running.
You can change a few names, but it's still the 2 big stars going forward for Farnham Town. It was brilliant from Brendan. He sort of chucked his body in there, and it was very clever. Like, he didn't look like he really had a great sight of goal, funnily enough. but he just sort of rode that contact. It was smart play from
And he
Che.
knew he was going to get clattered as well
Yeah.
if he got the touch right, so it was brave as well.
The touch, if you asked him, I think the touch would have been, well, I got to touch this away, not to get a shot, but to get the contact. So it was really smart play. I'm very surprised the keeper came out and did it, to be honest.
But nice link up between Flatman and Brennan.
Well, Brennan, there is no doubt about it. In the first, 120 minutes of pre-season, he is the man who's coming out of his stock up.
Well, we talk about Stepney making an impact in Step 4 at his first go of it, and Farnham haven't been afraid to dig into the Step 5 market for the signings this season, and the early signs are it's paying off. It's very early days.
Yeah, no, it is. But the thing is, Step 5 is full of brilliant players, and a lot of sometimes people don't play Step 4 for a variety of reasons. It's not just about their ability. Step 5. I know in Shea's example, he lived near Tooting's ground, so he just moved down from the north, and that was a natural place for him to play. But he can play Step 4. He could probably play higher than that. You don't play for Loughborough University's first team without being a very good player.
Yeah, George Butler on the bench, another one that was plucked from a Step 5 outfit this summer. Hopefully we get to see some of him in the second half. I'm sure we will.
Yep. No, he's another one that we looked at for a long time, and just the way his attitude over everything really is just the way the way he approaches football. I think that's half the battle than talent. These boys can all play, but Farnham really getting in the groove now.
Yeah, Flatman starting to get into the game. Here's Rollinson. Jack Dean getting forward, and Rollinson finds him. And Jack Dean wins the corner again. Great athleticism to get forward. And
Seven's done really well there. He could have easily been higher up the pitch here, but he's put a shift in for his team there. Otherwise, we were looking down the barrel of 3-0. This game will get closer though. There'll be subs off the bench. Farnham got a lot of young kids on the bench. This is definitely not over.
Go! There you go, you're fine there. Step onto it now.
Pixie's delivery doesn't beat the first man. It will come to Sanders though, so no respite for QPR just yet. Here's Rollinson. Cross blocked. Jackson, the last man back. Not afraid to go on a bit of a run forward from fullback or centre-back Joe Jackson. Brzowski. Kept in by Kinane, who looks down the line. Picked up by Sanders, looking to set Rollinson away. And again, Seven just having a tough time from an attacking perspective. Farnham look very comfortable, very up for this.
Sun has come out in GU9.
Brzowski gets another touch. He waited a long time to play that, but "12 minutes until half-time. QPR would just love something to go into the half-time dressing room.
It might not even be a goal, just a little spell or a couple of chances. But they're giving it away
Yeah,
again.
they can't keep doing that, especially to Daryl Sanders, who finds Brennan, who slipped at the crucial moment. It was that Sanders-Brennan connection, and he'll get a bit of stick for that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, one of those things, and there's been a bit of rain. It's probably in his firm ground boots. QPR have really struggled in midfield, really struggled.
Yeah, Cooksey probably should have just played Sanders in there, and you can see the frustration on Sanders' face. Here come QPR though. And Stephanie goes in strong. And then gets it away, but the referee blows for a free kick for the earlier infringement.
I think Cooksey's just apologised to Sanders there as well.
Yeah, it was a transition, a real opportunity for Farnham. They had numbers. but QPR have struggled to make much happen from open play. Maybe a set piece can unlock the door for them.
You know, they've had all week to work on him, so...
I mean, the number 9, I don't think I've seen him touch the ball.
No, and to be fair to him, the one time he did, something actually came from it.
Free kick routine.
Great. Oh.
Results in a pretty average cross, just floated up. Easy one for Brzozowski.
Meat and drink for Brzozowski there.
Stepney. Wynn held that up, and that's probably going to help Brennan, whose touch was good.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And he finds Flatman. Those two
Jack Dean's coming!
Connect. Rollinson. Sanders. And Jackson. And it almost came for Waters. It might come for Jack Dean, right in front of goal. He scored a couple of headers last season. Couldn't beat the goalkeeper there. Another free kick given to QPR.
To be fair to him, again, the 9 popped that off well. They've really got to get him involved. It's a thankless task for him up there against Stepney and Canane, but...
Yeah, it's probably best served dropping a bit deeper.
Yeah. He looks up for the fight, though.
Yeah, and that's what the QPR coaching staff will want to see. 2-0 down against a senior team. It's time to stand up and be counted for these young players. That was a brave pass, in fairness, but didn't come off, as Stepney again looks directly for the Farnham front two. That's a nice pass. Touch just took it behind him a bit there, and Jackson got in there and won the free kick.
It's not a bad foul. Not a bad foul for QPR.
Stepney again looking for that diagonal pass. Jack Dean wasn't quite far enough down the line there.
Not sure if we're doing a man of the match, but if it was so far, it'd be Jack Dean.
Yeah, the back four have looked very, very strong.
Yeah, it's one of those where I wouldn't be surprised if Canane and Stepney both stayed on and they really tried to work on this partnership.
Stepney's seen a lot of the ball in this first half. Good opportunity of him to settle back into life at Farnham. Sanders has beat the offside trap, but not quite able to.
Give him a few more weeks and I think he gets there.
I hope the 250 of you watching along have enjoyed this first half, which has 7 minutes left. And hope you can make it to one of the upcoming pre-season games, of which there are plenty. Four weeks until the competitive action gets underway. Number 7 has some space and looks to make the most of it with a decent strike, which probably was creeping in, but Brzozowski is never going to be beaten from there.
No, just looking back at the penalty challenge, Brennan's pretty lucky he didn't come away with an injury there.
Yeah, a bit of a scissor, actually.
Yeah. I think if that was the Premier League, we'd be looking at that as a VAR red card.
It was a bit like Pickford on Van Dijk. Lucky there. Lucky that he got away unscathed. Here's Rollinson, and now Flatman, who stayed onside and looks early for Brennan.
I think the pass was a little cute one there to Rollinson, but QPR players just getting a little bit frustrated out here. Look, it's pre-season for them as well. You know, this is really it's time to get fit.
And they'll know there's no shame in being beaten by this Farnham outfit.
No. And as you said earlier, they'd have looked at that Sutton United game and thought, wow, we've got a big game today. I think also for QPR, I know the first team are away in, I think, Girona at the moment, so you'd without knowing, but you'd probably estimate that their real best players are probably out there with the first team.
Sanders fouled there, just outside the centre circle. And the referee just having a quick word there with the number 8. Hearts in mouths when you see Sanders on the deck. Brennan just looking to sweep it goalwards.
Brennan's quite an interesting one, isn't he? Because he's not tall, he's not quick, but he's just good. Might not be the best analysis you'll ever get. He just does everything right. He's sharp.
Yep.
I think sharp is the attribute I'd use to describe him. Scored boatload of goals last season for Tooting and Mitcham.
That's good play from number 8. 10 looking for 7, and another chance for him to shoot, and this time he misses a target. Might have troubled Brzozowski if he could hit it from there.
Yeah, there's a better move from QPR. As that space starts to open up, that's where they need to trust their football, because they're clearly very good at it. They can move the ball quickly through the midfield, and they just got to do that a bit more.
That's a lovely ball from Jackson to Cooksley, and now that's really opened up the space for Sanders, who just tugged back there, which is frustrating for Farnham. They did have numbers, but that's probably the only way you could stop Sanders in that situation. Cooksley looking to play it quickly. Now we saw Harry Cooksley score a couple of free kicks from this
Could be a Flatman one though. The
territory.
sort of power.
Yeah, you'd say the Cooksley free kicks at Camberley and one here were maybe 5 yards closer.
Scored one against Fleet as well, did he? Or?
Yeah. But Flatman no stranger to a spectacular strike of his own. And he's the one that's put the ball down with intent. It's a good effort from Flatman, plenty of power on it.
Not bad. Better than some of the Ronaldo free kicks I've seen this last week. No offence to any Ronaldo fanboys that are tuned in.
Yeah, Flatman's grown into the game. And
Yes.
definitely him and Brennan, not telepathic by any means, but they've grown as a partnership.
Yeah,
throughout this 45
Sanders
minutes.
also playing quite high as well. He's sort of allowed to do what he wants.
Number 9 gets some time on the ball here and looks to get past Waters, and then again Stepney, who gets his body in between the ball and man. Rollinson just laid it off a bit short for Waters, and a turnover. Looking to work it through the middle. Stepney in the way. Canane been dragged out. Nice man up the pitch.
Yep.
Waters fills in for him. Good spell this for QPR.
Just before the half as well. They can go in happy if they score here.
And the left back might shoot. Instead he plays it across to 7 and back into the area. Stepney's there though. So calm from Farnham's new centre back. It's like he never left.
That left back's got to be more positive there.
Apologies if you're picking up any noise. The wind is really quite strong at the moment. Left back again with a chance to stretch his legs. Into the box it comes. Again, Stepney away.
It's funny, I don't think Shea's going to get that sort of lack of aggressiveness when it comes to step 4.
Flatman. Just a few seconds to go before half-time. Farnham more than happy to see it out. I say that as Flatman's offside.
I wondered why he was so far in front.
Stay with us at half-time. We'll talk through Farnham Town's pre-season activity, the signings and objectives for the campaign, as well as looking back on the first 45 minutes here, which have been very good for the hosts. Playing a bit isolated there, and Stepney was running back and it just caught him as it was played through. Sanders. Now Cooksley. Brennan gets a touch on it. Sanders. Flatman wants it and gets it. Does he? No, it's just ahead of him. Good run from Flatman, and it was an uncharacteristic error really from Sanders, but he's the man who opened the scoring with a lovely finish on 20 minutes, and then Harry Cooksley from the penalty spot made it 2, and Farnham in the first 45 minutes of the pre-season campaign here at the Memorial Ground have given this big crowd plenty to get excited about after a good win on Tuesday as well at Langley. And they get a round of applause from the terrace. And now we'll see the Mystery Kitchen and the Dough Shack queues build up, but that was a very pleasant 45 minutes.
Yeah, look, rain aside, I think it was, that's probably about as well as it could have gone. Flatman and Brennan looked brilliant. Stepney and Canane looked like they were forming a good partnership, and Jack Dean down this right-hand side was fantastic. And to be fair, all the areas maybe you'd have thought QPR would have struggled in, they did. The sort of physicality of it. Defensively, they didn't look great. So I think the game has probably gone as you'd have expected it to.
The opener from Daryl Sanders, it had been coming for a few minutes, hadn't it? And it was surprising that QPR weren't alert to the danger that Jack Dean was provided on this right-hand side, and that's where the goal came from in the end.
Yeah, the defensive instincts were just a little bit off. But that, Flatman's ball was fantastic, and Sanders stayed alive. And it was actually, you said it on comms, but the finish was a very tough finish, and that's what you get with Daryl Sanders, and your big moments, the big players have big moments, and he had one there. I think he just enjoyed his football out there. It looked like he was, and I think Daryl, obviously, the way he plays, non-league teams target him. QPR probably didn't have a good idea of who he was, so he could sort of enjoy that freedom. Not sure he'll have many games like that.
And they also might not have known much about Lewis Flatman, who got his head up very quickly to pick out Shea Brennan for the foul that led to the penalty. Yeah,
it was a sort of De Bruyne-esque. He picked up the ball in the right half space and looked up, just fizzed the ball in, and Brennan fantastic again. He's just sharp, and he had that touch, used his body well, got the penalty, and Cooksley interestingly went the other side to where he normally goes.
This is obviously a very difficult question. I'm sure there'll be many difficult questions in terms of personnel at this stage of pre-season as we go through the start of the season, but Lewis Flatman and Owen Dean both did very well last season, particularly Owen Dean, obviously with the Golden Boot. Farnham have made a lot of attacking signings. Do you think Flatman will be deployed as more of a 9 this year, and the same question for Owen Dean, I suppose?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think Owen. I definitely think Owen will be more of a 9. I think Flatman. It's tricky. There's so many versatile players there. You've got Owen that can play 9 and 10. Flatman can play 9 and 10. I wouldn't be surprised if Daryl played sometime in the 9. I think it's all match-up dependent. I think there are going to be times where, you're going to see Mark and Joe in the base of midfield, and you're going to see them sort of be that off-the-ball team, and Daryl might play as a 9, or Cooksley might play in the 10. So I think what Jono's tried to do is bring in players that he has a few options with. You know, Owen can play 9 or 10, Flatty 9 or 10, Kai 8 or 10, or at the back. George can play left back, centre mid. So he's tried to bring in really versatile players, and I think it helps with squad building. If you've got too many of certain positions, then it's really tricky to rotate. But you know, I think he'll have an idea of what maybe his strongest sort of 12 or 13 players are, and then the rest are up for grabs.
Yeah, we saw a couple of different types of players up front for Farnham last season, with Shamar Edwards, who was very quick, Charlie Possums, who was very physical and a good finisher. We've seen Shea Brennan, as you were saying, it's kind of hard to put your finger on what he's good at. Hopefully we see some Duarte Martins in the second half, and obviously fans that maybe are watching now haven't seen him play before. What can they expect from him in terms of style?
Yeah, it's funny, he's sort of an all-rounder, but he's big, physical. He's got a good turn of pace, probably quicker than he looks. But he gave Ryan a real game here when Stoneham came to Farnham. His physicality, he's a lefty, brilliant finisher, scored I think 40 goals last year, 40 goals the season before, and 25 the season before that. So he knows where the back of the net is. He's just moved to London, so you know he's coming from Stoneham, who are a great club, but now he's at Farnham, where you see around this place, this is a big club to play for, and this is where you can really make a mark. You know, there are, without trying to sort of ship him off to a club higher already, but there are clubs look at Farnham Town. You look at Pat Nash has gone to Aldershot. Clubs were sniffing around Owen Dean all summer. So if you can come here and make a big impact, then you know you can really climb up the pyramid, and Duarte will be looking to do that. Highlight of his season last season with Stoneham was scoring at Hewish Park. So he's no stranger to the big occasion. He'll love. This won't be the biggest crowd he's ever played in front of. So he's an ambitious guy. He's speaking to him. He's ambitious. He's driven. Takes his football seriously, and I think. You know, there's a reason Jono's given him the number 9 shirt, and that's because he's going to play a lot of games.
He was one of the last players of the ones that have been signed to be announced, but he was, in terms of identification, like and knowing that he was going to be the top target, that was quite early on, wasn't it, in the year?
The deal was agreed, I think, in December or January, and it was about, was he going to come mid-season? Probably not. He gave his word to Stoneham, and he's a very loyal guy. So it was just a case of waiting for that to you know, full respect to Stoneham, let them sort of play out their season. Unfortunately, didn't go up in the playoffs. And wait for their sort of award season to finish. But you know, Jono and Duarte worked out a deal very early on, and he knew that was the striker he wanted. It was funny because you know, for Jono, players pop up. You know, you hear about players becoming available, but Duarte was one that he wanted for a long time.
Joe Rollinson, on the other hand, who's been very tidy today, he was one that kind of came out of nowhere, right? It just presented itself, and he's played at a high level, but what a coup. Yeah,
I think he's 100 odd appearances in Step 2 in the last few years. It just became available, and we're in a position where, you know, we had a number of targets, and Joel became available, and he just skipped the queue. So yeah, I think the club are delighted to have him. He's been around the pro game a lot. He was at Reading as a kid, and he actually played with Adam Liddell, so I think that's where the connection comes from. And he sort of asked Adam, you know, what's the club like, and Lyd said it's a brilliant club to play for. So Joel's here, and he's traditionally played more as a winger, so I think it'll take a little bit of getting used to playing that number 10 role, but come from the level he does is you know, a fantastic capture for the club.
Not to give too much away to any sort of opposition coaches or anything that are watching, but do you think the system might be a bit more adaptable this year? You might see some different setups? Yeah,
I think with the players you got, with Joel, Daryl, and obviously Owen, and even Duarte played a bit of left wing last year, so I think there might be games where you go and play a 4-3-3, and you line up with Cooksley, Joe and Mark in midfield, and then you play maybe Daryl on the wing, or Daryl as the 9, and Duarte on the wing, or Duarte down the middle, and Owen on the right. So you've got options. Like Owen is a player, and Kai obviously can play on the wing. So you've got options all across that front line. So yeah, we saw it a little bit last year where they switched to sort of 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. That could happen again.
Joe Jackson's playing at left back today. Obviously, he was kind of all over the place last season, but you get the feeling that it's a very settled back three in terms of Dean, Canadian, and Stepney. Jackson's a player that you want to get into the team. It kind of seems logical that left back will be where he applies his trade this year.
I'd say probably most of his games are going to be there, but I think, as I sort of just said, like some of those games where you go away, maybe to Leatherhead or maybe to Hayes or some of the big teams, Kingstonian, maybe you go and put Joe in midfield and Joe and Mark, and they just really sort of act doggedly, and then you put maybe George at left back just to shut it down. I think Joe's, as you put it right, like Joe's the sort of player you want to get into the team. He's a fantastic leader, 100%. He's going to be everywhere. He never really makes mistakes, and I think the players love him. So yeah, they'll be trying to get him into the pitch wherever they can. And the good thing is, if you do get the injury, Joe can just fill in anywhere. If Jack gets injured, Joe can fill in at right back. If one of the centre mid gets injured, then Joe Jackson's going to play there.
Yeah, Flatman comes back out. Flatman's got a smile on his face. But you mentioned some of the clubs there Farnham are going to be competing with next season. You know, the Hayes and Yeddings, the Leatherheads, and obviously Kingstonian are going to be very strong.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, fans that may have been watching us on YouTube for the last year or beyond that, and fans that have come here have probably got used to just rocking up here and seeing Farnham be comfortable like they have been today.
Not going to be that. And the thing is, like those top teams, those games are going to be fantastic, as you said. Kingstonian, Leatherhead, Southall, but it's also the teams at the bottom. They're not like where you play teams at the bottom of step 5. They're not. They're kind of coming here to not get embarrassed. Whereas the bottom of that step 4, they'll be desperate. Like, go away to Ashford on a Tuesday night. It's going to be tricky. You know, toughest team. They're going to put the ball in 100 times a game. You have to head it and kick it. And even those games at the bottom, you're not going to have the 3, 4, 5-0s anymore. It's going to be, you're going to get out of places. Leverhead, you might take a 0-0, and that might be a great result. I think Farnham will be really strong at home. I think that's where they'll look to. I think they'll be disappointed. They're not going to win every home game, but they'll come into every home game wanting to win.
Do you think they'll come here and have to face against a low block every week, or will it be more competitive, more even, teams going more?
I think there'll be a lot of low blocks, but I think the difference between step 5 and step 4, they'll have the pace to go on the other end. They won't just be low block for low block's sake. It'll be low block, but they'll know how to spring out of it. I think similar to how South Park were in the Surrey Cup final, they were very deep, but they had those pacey players, Sam King as well. Like they knew how to spring forward and counter-attack.
Absolutely. You see Jimmy Hibbert, all smiles as well. Brennan and Flatman doing some
I
shuttles.
would suggest that means they're coming off.
Yep. Yeah, we wait to see how many changes. It'd be good to see some of the young players get a chance. A big crowd, big occasion for them.
Yeah, Joe Goddard's a player that's been with us for a long time. Oh, I say a long time. We would have seen him last season. I think he came on against Nap Hill. He's had a few appearances. He's 16. He's ready to go. He's hungry. He'll be looking to make an immediate impact. Finn was a player that played on Tuesday. Gave a great account of himself. So, yeah, I think it'll be very. It's a great day. It's a great day for those kids to come in and get a moving. And the thing is, you never know. You never know who's watching.
Yeah, and you never know what opportunities might arise. For Farnham this season.
The left back spot, as much as we say it's Joe Jackson's, who knows?
Who knows indeed. And Joe Jackson is one that does appear to be staying on. Doesn't look like there's been too many changes. At least there's 7 players out there that played the first half. Look like they're going to resume. Darryl Sanders is going to give us
Won't see him doing much running.
No. But it seemed like forever that he was away after that injury picked up.
It's a tricky one. He probably could have come back quicker if we were if that happened this season. I think you would have seen him a lot earlier. Just didn't really want to push it. The title was wrapped up very early.
Yeah, I guess the only one that was a slight possibility was the Surrey Cup final, but again, coming back for one game, maybe unnecessary. Farnham would have loved to have completed a League and Cup double last season, but wasn't to be.
Maybe this season.
Yeah. The FA Cup draw was made yesterday. Be a nice trip to Tunbridge Wells. We didn't get many trips of that length last season, so
should be a lovely trip. I've heard good things about Tunbridge Wells.
Yeah.
I think if you are watching and you're a Farnham fan, there will be details on away coach travel for that at some point. Although if you are a Farnham fan, I'm sure you're probably here because it seems that half of Farnham is here.
Yeah.
Have we got an official attendance? I don't know if we have yet.
We got a question on YouTube simply saying, what about Mark Waters? So maybe if you want to pay tribute to him for a moment, he is going to play the second half. But, we did touch on it during the game, but his arrival from Kingstonian, his sort of arrival into the team was so seamless, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's just fitted in really well. I think he knew a couple of the lads, maybe from like the non-league circuit, but he has been fantastic. It's just his energy, his leadership. Like he was the captain at Kingstonian, and he's sort of brought that over here. You look at Farnham, and you've got like Kinane, Jackson, Cooksley, Waters. Like they're all captains, and you know that just provides Jono with just a fantastic dressing room.
Indeed it does, and we are going to see Duarte Martins and Owen Dean.
It's good for. I'm happy for Duarte to get some minutes in there with Daz on the pitch.
Yep.
Here they've just seen those runs that Shea's been making and knowing, right, if I make those runs, I'm going to have opportunities.
1,205 people in the ground today. Unbelievable. Really good job getting over the 1,200 mark. And yeah, another comment on YouTube asking if Farnham have a sponsor. And yeah, it was announced today, No Two Ways, the front of shirt sponsor. But as you can see on the screen, Pepperami also a partner of the club. And we are just about ready to get underway. And you presume that Dean and Martins will be the front two, replacing Brennan and Flatman, who did well to combine for the second goal.
Dean and Martins provide you a very different dynamic than Flatman and Brennan. Those sort of balls in the box and those long balls, you should be able to find these two players' heads.
Sanders and now Jackson, who
sporting a sort of arm bandage, almost looks like Michael Jordan.
What do you think the message would have been from the QPR dressing room at half-time?
I think, as we said, be a bit braver. Like, yeah, run at them. Don't be scared by them. That's not a foul.
The referee waves play on. Kinane with some defending to do, and a weak effort in the end.
I think that was a sub over there. And, like, just be braver. It sounds simple, but
There was trying to buy a foul there.
Yeah. So often you see that the player just because it's in a dangerous area, the ref just sort of gives it.
Jackson. Nice chest touch there from Owen Dean. Jackson. Time for Sanders. All the way across to Jack Dean. Picked that one out beautifully, Sanders.
Up we go! Up we go!
Stepney again looking for Dean. Early cross towards Martins. Got a bit of contact on it.
They've got that focal point in the box now. It's probably one thing that Farnham are missing.
They won't admit it, but I think Brennan and Martins will feel like there is a bit of competition between the pair to be the star striker this season. So I think Martins will be determined to get off the mark as soon as he can.
The thing is, then you got Owen Dean, Golden Boot winner last year. We'll be thinking, well, this is my club. I've been here for a few years. Been here since I was 9.
Yeah, Owen Dean, of course, will be an integral part of this side. Martins again the target.
Done well.
Nice cushion header. But number 8's been busy in there.
He's put a shift in, that's for sure.
Kinane lunged and got there. Now Owen Dean with a chance to turn. Sanders wants it. Dean unable to find him. Nice to see some QPR fans watching along on the stream.
What are you expecting this season, QPR fans? No, there's been some changes to the playing staff, that's for sure.
Cooksley and Jack Dean looking for Rollinson. Cooksley's been playing very deep.
Up we go! Up we go!
Going for the tucked-in shirt look. Here he is, Cooksley. Stepney will be pressurised here. And Farnham get the throw. Just looking to carry on where they left off in that first half. Sanders. Jack Dean again in acres of space. Rollinson wants it.
He can deliver. It's just not quite come off for Joel today.
Yeah, he's all action though, Rollinson. Presses a lot, good energy.
Oh, it'll come.
Farnham dominating the possession in the first 5 minutes of the second half. And that will only tire out these young QPR players. Canane looking for Dean. The wind just picking up a few of these long balls forward. That's a nice flick around the corner, but Canane got there. QPR still have numbers though, and there's space for the number 10 here. Overlapping run from 18, just wasn't patient enough there. Off Owen Dean's back, and now Martins lays it off for Dean. Loads of space for Rollinson. And Joel Rollinson's effort sails over the bar. He had more time than he realised.
He's got to keep driving into the box there. He drives into the box, there's probably another pass on. Snatched it a little bit. That was brilliant play from Martins and Owen there. Just a lovely little flick round the corner from Duarte.
Yeah, both strikers very close to each other there. Linking up nicely. And Rollinson will regret that. It's a good chance for him to make a name for himself on this big.
Yeah, I think he just snatched it. Like, you just got to keep driving, get a better shot, better quality shot than that.
Yeah, any Farnham fan that watched the Rollinson highlight reel will be encouraged. Here he is again.
He's got to play it.
And he goes for goal again. Martins was probably the better option. Cooksley. Waters. Rollinson definitely hungry. Maybe too much so. Just looking to make amends for that previous effort, probably.
Yeah, it's tougher than that.
Up! Up! Up!
Stepney. Very calm in possession. Jack Dean. Martins wants it. Cooksley gets it. So much movement in front of the Farnham midfield. Almost a front three with Rollinson joining in. Sanders operating from a bit deeper. Good ball from Stepney into Jackson, who gets the better of both attempts to steal it from him, and it's a promising position for a free kick here. Stepney's passing range very impressive, both short and long.
Yeah, he really fizzes that ball in, doesn't he? Wraps his foot round it. I think it's that left-footed thing of just looking better as well.
It's hard not to get carried away watching that centre-back partnership. Sure, Ryan Canane's enjoying it.
Cooksley might fancy just hanging this one up there. A bit of wind. Duarte hopefully feeding off the scraps.
It's fizzed in pretty quickly.
That is
Corner.
poor. I think that, to be fair to the kid over there, it's probably the biggest crowd he's ever played in front of. It's all a learning experience.
Farnham would love to see the clock end, have something to shout about. Outswinger from Cooksley. Martins gets there, and Owen Dean is flagged offside.
What a line from the keeper.
Great leap from Martins there to get his head on that, and Owen Dean, a real poacher. But flagged offside, unfortunately.
Farnham a bit out of shape here.
Yeah, and
I think Stepney realised that they were out of shape.
but that was some leap from Duarte Martins.
Subs here.
Yeah, lots of them. Kai Tanner, George Butler and Max Meaton. So that's the end of Jordan Stepney's afternoon, and what an afternoon it was.
Yeah, been brilliant.
Robinson looks maybe a little bit frustrated with himself from those two shots a moment ago. So Max Meaton goes to right back. Jack Dean slots in alongside Kinane in the centre of defence. Jackson into midfield.
It's great versatility. It just shows you the embarrassment of riches Paul Johnson's got, really. And we, just as we said at half time, that sort of more industrious midfield of Waters and Jackson, Cooksey in the 10, and we've seen it. I've probably spent too much time with the manager.
Kai Tanner will be looking to grab this opportunity by the scruff of the neck. Kinane
He shot.
has gone for goal. A wry smile from Kinane. Why not?
I mean, would that have been his reaction if Flatman did it?
Good to get a look at George Butler.
Yeah. He's certainly, big in stature.
Farnham went through a number of left backs last season, but it's their right back that's got some defending to do here. Ball just a bit heavy. Martins' touch gets it back from Tanner, and he looks to release Owen Dean.
Even already compared to Tuesday, Duarte just looks very comfortable up there.
Cushion header from Kinane. Brzowski's had very little to do.
Yeah, just a couple little saves that were straight at him from distance. His kicking's been very good, that's for sure. Probably the worst of his day.
We're playing the wind.
Yeah.
Max Meaton staying tight to his man.
Done well, Max.
Very well indeed. Back in at right back after playing most of the second half of last season, at least at centre back, Max Meaton. Interesting that they've done it that way around with Meaton on the right and Dean going into the middle, maybe just resting his legs a bit.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Give Max a proper blowout at right back. But I'd suspect in the season you'd see more of Jack Dean at right back and Max Meaton at centre back. I mean, how do you play through this midfielder, Jackson and Waters? They're going to be absolutely everywhere. There you go.
Not like that, that's for sure. Here's Cooksley. Lovely step over. He's in here, Cooksley. And he wants to set up Owen Dean. Martins! 3-0! Duarte Martins off the mark for Farnham Town. It ricocheted right into his path, and he'll be delighted with that.
Yeah, he's looked sharp today, and he was in the right place. Very fortunate. Could have been a penalty on Owen Dean. It was brilliant from Cooksley though. That sort of step over and drive, which is sort of trademark Harry Cooksley. Martins will be delighted to be off the mark.
Unselfish from Cooksley as well. He could have easily opened his body up and gone for goal himself. He wanted to lay it on a plate for one of the strikers.
Cooksley's a very experienced player. He'll know that you want to get your strikers up and running. That's why I thought one of the strikers might have taken the penalty.
Lovely moment for Martins. And both Farnham Town's out-and-out number 9 centre-forward signings are up and running in pre-season. Brennan with a brace on Tuesday, Martins off the bench to score today. Very exciting times for the Farnham Army. QPR will just want to avoid an embarrassment now, really. Not that it should be viewed as that, but they will feel it if this goes 5-0 or something like that. On the flip side, a lot of Farnham players that want to get in on the act. Certainly Owen Dean want to remind everybody why he was top scorer last term for the town. Forward from Butler. Martins will chase this one down. And Jack Dean, who said he was going to rest his legs, it looks like he could go for another 90 minutes out there. Tanner intercepts. Half an hour to go. What a lovely afternoon this has been at the Memorial Ground, the new look Memorial Ground, with all sorts of fun stuff going on. Dean goes long for Martins.
He's done really well there.
Retains the ball, looking for Cooksley there. QPR just being the architects of their own downfall at times, struggling to play out from the back. But Farnham have forced the mistakes. They've stolen it quite high up the pitch a lot today, Farnham.
Yeah. I think that's what teams are going to try and do against Farnham during the season.
Here comes the left back off the bench. Farnham in their shape. It's played nicely through the lines there, but that's as far as they're going to get. Cooksley was looking for Dean, just needed to be a bit more in front of the number 7. And Joe Jackson, he mentioned his fitness. I mean, look at him go. Finds Cooksley. And Waters. Farnham going through the gears here. I said it's 4 weeks until the competitive action. They look like they're ready to go now, Farnham.
Yeah, I mean, compared to last season, it took Farnham a long time to get going.
Jackson's full of confidence. Ryan Kinane. Wonder when we might see some of the youth players on the bench today introduced. Sure, that's all been pre-planned by Paul Johnson and Jimmy Hibbert. Max Meaton. Well dealt with. QPR held onto the ball a bit better these last few minutes.
Yeah, they have. I think subs change games as well. The sort of general pace has slowed down a little bit.
George Butler goes in strong. A few substitutions again, I believe.
QPR.
Centre back makes way. Doesn't look like he's enjoyed this afternoon too much. Meaton in front of the Pepper Army stand.
Not something I ever thought I'd hear someone say. Farnham.
Owen Dean. Brzozowski felt like he had to deal with that first time. Wasn't his best kick.
And Jackson's there again.
Yeah, just outnumbered that time, Jackson. And the 8 will have a dig. And Brzozowski had to tip that one over. First real test he's had, Brzozowski. Didn't feel like he could just catch it. And it all came from the back pass to him, which put him under a bit of pressure, and his kick was sliced into an area where QPR could develop an attack.
The number 8 has probably been the pick of the QPR players, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a good strike from him. If it was a yard either side of Brzozowski, might have been a different story, but they do get the corner. 25 minutes to go. If they are going to find a way back into this, it needs to start now. But it's not really a delivery they were looking for. It has been all QPR these last 5 or 6 minutes. Can they make it count? Again, it's given away though. Harry Cooksley's won it back a number of times in those areas, but nice 1-2. Substitutes who seem to have made a positive impact for the visitors, who have picked up the pace. Poor touch there. Butler just looking to play it down the line. Butler, a man who can play in a number of positions. Martins with the header. Flicks it on towards Owen Dean. And now Cooksley. Martins makes the run forward, and he might get to this, but the keeper comes out to smother. And the flag eventually goes up. It's kind of like a lot of games we saw last season where Farnham score a few goals early on.
Yep.
And the game sort of peters out in the second half.
Make a few subs and...
can't quite see what's being...
I think he wants one of the subs to put a bib on.
Right. Max Meaton getting forward. Yeah, nicely worked from QPR, but just runs out of play. Some good minutes in Ryan Kinane's legs this afternoon.
Yeah, he's the sort of player that's done this for 10, 12 years. He'll know how many minutes he wants to play, how he wants to get his body right, and we're doing a lot of work off the pitch.
Yeah, he was an exhausted man at the back end of last season.
Yeah, there was a few of them. But yeah, him in particular.
Yeah, it was a very hectic schedule from January onwards for Farnham. Hopefully this year the weather holds up a bit better and we're able to get some more games on.
I have to say the pitch does look fantastic today.
Meaton gets the cross in, headed away. Owen Dean still chasing after it. Cooksley just cut across it a bit too much, looking to find that top corner. He's got his goal today, Cooksley, but he'd love one from open play.
Love to score in front of the clock end, that's what he likes to do. I think I saw some sort of England-related Jude Bellingham celebration from him for Duarte's goal.
A bit too hasty there, Jackson, trying to win the ball. Tanner getting back and doing his defensive duties. Dean's flick. Just lost a bit of attacking structure, Farnham, the last 10 minutes. Won't be too much of a concern. That's given away cheaply, not for the first time. Can Farnham punish that error of judgment? Joe Jackson might. Joe Jackson does, and he's been good value for that goal. Brilliant performance from him today, and that finish was that of a striker rather than a fullback come centre midfielder.
He's been everywhere today, Joe, and he gets his rewards, because that was fantastic. The 1-2 was brilliant. He didn't just give the ball away, let the attackers do it. He went in the box himself and made the difference. And he's put in some hard work. It's clear to see on the off-season, and he's getting the reward for it there, because that was fantastic. Brilliant composure. Farnham get a fourth. And, yeah, very comfortable. This is, if you're a Farnham fan, you probably want the season to start tomorrow.
Yep, they're making light work of this Farnham, given this 1,200 strong crowd, plenty to get excited about. Of course, this is just a development team of QPR, so can't get
But
too
there are going to be some
away.
players in there that have got big futures in the game. And as a coach, you can sort of use this as this is where we've got to be. Like, we train every day; these guys train once a week, and they're beating us. How do we get better? So I think they'll be better. QPR will be much better for this experience.
Positive play from the left back. And number 8 goes down in the box. Jackson mindful not to foul him. Still alive here. Poor pass though. Better one was needed there. That's probably going to be offside, and that just sort of sums up their lack of impetus in the final third as Farnham look to make more changes.
Goddard coming up. Jack Dean coming off.
Yeah, great performance from him. You know, you mentioned Jack Dean for man of the match earlier. I think Joe Jackson, especially with that goal, might be climbing up the leaderboard.
On comes Joe Goddard. Yeah, so we saw a bit of him last year. Yeah, he's got a big future in the game. 16, you know, he's of good stature. I think he's been on the books of having at Waterlooville and Farnham. Very much excited to have him down here and part of the under-18s.
Yeah, and it allows Canane to move back to the right-hand side. Cooksley round the corner for Martins. Tenacity there from Duarte Martins. And again, it's given away. Here's Owen Dean. Meaton looking to get to the byline, delivers a cross. And
he has been done there.
Yeah.
But Joe Jackson mops up. That's
Canane
brilliant from
steps in.
Canane.
Looking quickly for Martins. The flag goes up against Martins, and that'll probably spare his blushes after a poor touch there. Butler.
Well done, George Butler.
"15 minutes to go. Farnham Town 4. QPR development squad 0. Cross comes in. Just haven't been able to make anything happen in those situations.
Can I report that Pat Nash is here? Wow. Pat Nash is in the building.
Yeah, fan favourite last year, Pat Nash. Wish him all the best at Aldershot. Just up the road from here. Marcin Brzozowski looking to carry on some of the fantastic achievements from the Farnham goalkeeper last season. Canane playing at crossfield. Now Goddard. Martins, I think he timed his run to perfection there, Martins. And between the centre-back and the goalkeeper, they just about deal with the number 9.
Really good ball from Joe Goddard. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I know he's had the run there, but he's probably played a pass that no QPR player has played. Maybe that's the difference between coming in through the academy and through non-league.
Jackson just looking for a clever pass there for Owen Dean, maybe a bit too flamboyant. Would have been sensational if it had come off, but it was always a tall order. Jackson, Tanner and Butler both there. And Tanner was actually offside. Should have left it to the left back. Position Tanner played at times last season.
Another one of those players that just played everywhere.
It's been positive that QPR substitute left back.
You have just ruined them. To be fair, all their substitutions have... Oh,
That might come for Tanner. It does, and no foul. If Martins can just stay onside, Owen Dean certainly can. Bodies in the box for Farnham. Dean looking for Tanner. The goalkeeper acrobatically deals with it.
I think Tanner's pass didn't elbow in there.
Number 10 pressurised by Butler. 14's looked handy. Likes to get on the ball. And it's him making the run, which Goddard has to be mindful of, and is. Space and time for Max Meaton. 10 minutes to go. 2 goals in either half for Farnham so far. They'd love a 5th.
Two more subs.
What's been a tremendous afternoon. I'm going to see a couple more youngsters now. Finn Jordan and Tom Christmas are going to
Cracker of a day for him.
get 10 minutes here. Replacing 2 excellent performers in Cooksley and Jackson. But yeah, you did hear me right. His name is Tom Christmas.
Fantastic opportunity for him, to be fair. Playing in front of 1,200, whatever the crowd is here today, like, it's fantastic. Can they be brave on the ball? It's a great knock from George.
It really is. Here's Tanner. Probably the wrong decision to try and take on his man there.
So Butler's gone into central midfield.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Christmas there was beaten to it. And there's acres of space on the right-hand side here for the 10. And just a bit hesitant there was Jordan. Good tackle there from Goddard, though. He's looked at home in the heart of the defence, Goddard.
I think those little games they just help you.
Drop ball given, and Kanane will look straight for Owen Dean. Butler. Chance to show what he can do in the middle of the park. Jordan for Owen Dean. Lovely skill from Dean. And it's in towards Christmas. Tanner. Max Meaton across the face of goal.
That was brilliant from Christmas. Butler's looked really, really assured here, and Goddard the same.
It's hard to believe Goddard's age.
Yeah.
Finn Jordan definitely looks a youngster out there.
As does Christmas.
Yes. But what a occasion for those kids.
No pressure on it, really. 4-0 up.
Would love Christmas to be able to get a shot away there a moment ago, but did the unselfish
I mean, the confidence on him to be able to pirouette in the box.
That's just come off Goddard's head, but deals with it very well.
Yeah, Joe's got a bit about him there.
Meaton, heavy touch, didn't realise the QPR man was nearby. Here's the 8, looking to take on Canane, and does get the shot away, but it's another weak effort, and that's all they've really been restricted to, QPR.
Yeah, Marston's not had a lot to do.
That one gets away from Meaton as well. Trying to play it over the top. Jordan deals with it. Nice play from Finn Jordan. Likewise from Owen Dean, who's still going.
Absolutely crunched him.
That's a nice touch. Meaton averts the danger though, and Christmas gets his shorts pulled up.
Nice touch.
Number 10 looks to cut inside. Jordan with some defending to do. And that's a cheap free kick. Just felt the touch from Jordan and went down. And the QPR 11 would love a consolation with 5 to play. And we're going to see another adjustment. Goalkeeper Charlie Burns. So Brasovski's clean sheet is secured. His first appearance at the Memorial Ground is a shutout. Charlie Burns will hope to complete the clean sheet for the team. Brasovski just embracing one of the QPR development coaches there, obviously his former club. And the header was not the best, and neither was the volley. And Charlie Burns did very well to come and claim that. His first action of the game. Very brave there, as you need to be as a goalkeeper. Waters, and now Meaton. Needs to be careful. Martin's looking to turn his man, and he does. Christmas is with him. It's Christmas! And he got the shot away. Christmas nearly came early there for the youngster.
It was brilliant from Duarte. Laid it on, gift wrapped.
I think the clock end would have lost the plot if Tom Christmas rounded this victory off. He still might. Butler.
Butler's had a real snap to his game.
Yeah, and it's forced a corner. One last chance for Canane to stride forward. Last couple of minutes now. Tanner standing over it. It's a good delivery. Butler, Canane. QPR just about deal with it. Jordan. Tanner wins the header. Bit of pinball in the middle of the park.
All in all, fantastic day for Farnham Town.
Yeah.
Result, we said result wasn't important, but it is nice to win.
Yeah, it's a bonus. It's a day we've been building up to for a long time. Owen Dean for Martins. Christmas.
Christmas has looked really assured on the ball.
Meaton. Final minute of the 90. Farnham have put on a show for this bumper crowd in the new kit.
Available to purchase from the 20th of July. Oh, he's taking a chance there, Goddard.
Bailed out. Doesn't look like QPR are going to get that consolation. Free kick given against Waters there. And he can't believe it. Linesman couldn't wait to put his flag up for that.
QPR taking it.
Get on with it.
I think they probably just want to get off, get some pizza inside them, and get that England game on.
And Dean did well to control that, but he gives it away. And Kenane's foot was high, but fair.
Farnham players are starting to take a few liberties out there. That should be it.
Yeah, we are in injury time, or of course there have been plenty of subs, but 4-0 in a friendly, I doubt they'll be too much longer. Jordan, Butler, Tanner, worked across to Dean. Waters, Tanner, good possession this from Farnham. Tanner made a run just behind him there from his pal Owen Dean.
I'm sure they'll be out in Farnham tonight, making a fool of themselves.
Yeah, but well deserved after this performance. Every Farnham player has contributed.
Yeah, I think there's some players out here that they've got stock up, that's for sure. I think Duarte's looked good, Joe Goddard at the back, George Butler, obviously Joe Jackson. I think all the new boys, they've done very well. Shea obviously contributed early. Can they see this out? If you are QPR, you would just want that one goal, just something to take home.
Referee looks at his watch and brings to an end a very satisfactory home pre-season bow for Farnham Town. They've won here against the QPR 11 by 4-0. Goals in the first half from Daryl Sanders and Harry Cooksley. And in the second half, Duarte Martins and Joe Jackson rounded off a fantastic display. Thanks very much to everyone who stayed with us on the stream, and hope to see you at a Farnham Town game in the near future.